Q always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. Number one sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Payton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that? To the Black and Gold family, man. Sports Coma, Monday stream, we're in the building. Much love to the great Saint Think Tank, and like I've been saying for some time now, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q, I'm in the building. Much love to the great Saint Think Tank. Appreciate you guys for being in the live stream. Please feel free to hit the like button. Please feel free to share the show, and also please feel free to hit upon the notification bell as well. Much love to the fam. Is this one? It's called Saints could trade for Jimmy G rather than sign Jameis Winston. Y'all know that I'm Team Jameis all the way to the bank, baby. I think that you can probably get Jameis cheaper than you get Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not going to exactly say I'm a fan of Jimmy Garoppolo, because I'm not. I think he's a pretty decent quarterback. He has health issues. He's hurt every damn year. And currently he's with the San Francisco 49ers, who's looking for a trade partner. The Saints, economically speaking, can't afford him. But we're going to cover some news, notes, and items from articles pertaining to him. Also, we're going to cover some buzz about the camp, and also some other news notes from the Black and Gold. So much love to the fam. Feel free to hit the like button. Won't hold you guys for very long in the stream. So much love to the fam. Who that to everybody, man. True Louisiana Animal, Jerry Poor Jr., Brian Pearson, Tim Dunn, Robert Mosher, Jasper Bowden. 3 L's is in the building as well. Much love to you and yours. Much love. All right, Boat on Sticks. Much love, fam. 504 Co is in the building as well. Torrey Shepard Sr. What's up, brother Torrey? Who that to you? Trey Joseph, ESPN. Can't flock with us ever. Thank you, bro. Much love to Trey. Saints Pelicans Nation. Who that to you? Saints Jameis is MVP. 2 times Super Bowl MVP. Thank you. All right, Josh Goat 23. I see your fam. Clint F. Michael. What's up, Michael? Roby. Who that to you? Says Jimmy G always plays good against us. Would be a good pickup. Has more playoff wins than Jameis. This is true. But like I said, we'll see if the price is right. And there have been rumors circulating around this man for some time. Me personally, I like Jimmy. I don't like Jimmy more than Jameis. But he is a guy that could help you win some ball games, man. But the price ain't right. We'll see, man. They keep trying to put us with this goddamn guy. It might be smoke where there's a fire. You know what I'm saying? Derek, who that to you? Derek Cropper, Pick It and Flick It. Much love to you as well. Appreciate you. T, I see your brother. JT in the building. Who that to you, and blessings to you. What's up, BNG Breakdown? What's up? What's going on, fam? How you doing, fam? All right, who that to you? And much love to the entire fam. Slim South, Ant-Man, Lori, what's happening, baby? T Dirty's in the building as well. And big ups to all the Black and Gold family members that's chiming in on the live, baby. We in this thing. So with that being said, like I said, hit upon the like button. We're going to cover an article from Saints Wire. And of course, ESPN and NOLA.com covering this. I'm not going to keep you guys for very long. You know, I don't do long Monday streams, but, you know, I do as well. But, you know, we're going to cover some Saints stuff. So hit upon the like button as we get going, fam. Here we go. All right, jumping right into it. And this is an article right here from the Saints Wire. Report that Saints could trade for trade for Jimmy Garoppolo rather than re-sign Jameis Winston. Anything's in play. Of course, we heard reports saying that the Saints were interested in signing Jameis Winston back, which would make a lot of sense. You know, it would make a lot of sense. Jameis would fit your price market better than a Garoppolo would. But then again, if the 49ers release Jimmy Garoppolo, he can then fit into your cap situation, whatever that may be. So we'll see how it all shakes. And I'm going to poll the chat and find out exactly how the family members feel about this. I know we got a lot of Jameis people in here, and it's obvious because Jameis been here over the last several years. And Garoppolo, like I've said, I don't like Jimmy Garoppolo. He is a guy that can win you some games. He ain't no loser, but he's an injury-plagued ass guy, which means you're going to have an offensive line that protects him because he's, the guy gets hurt a lot. So he can't take no punishment, that's for certain. But anyway, we got to keep it. Jay Alexander, what's up, fam? Said, what has Jimmy done to make him that much better? I know, bro. They said San Fran wins because of the running game, not because of Jimmy. The running game, not to mention, they have weapons there. You know what I'm saying? Defensively speaking, they can run the ball. They got a good defense, good tight end, and wide receivers are coming up. So he fits well there. They thought he was supposed to take him to the next level. But they are saying something, and people speak about Jimmy Garoppolo in terms of his tutelage with the New England Patriots and his trade into San Francisco 49ers. So maybe it's not the proper environment, but still in all, it's Jameis Winston territory, man. But it's really strange, though, brother Jay Alexander. It's the fact that you have to look at the fact that, you got this strange circumstance surrounding Cam Jordan coming out during the Super Bowl media days and was just kind of recruiting quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson. It was just a collage, multiple collage, a palette of quarterbacks that he was recruiting that's not named Jameis Winston. But ultimately, what he decided to do later on was then kind of settle back and kind of say, of course, Jameis Winston's my guy, but yada, yada, yada. That's like Jameis Winston saying if he got a contract and Cam doesn't have a contract, him going out there and going for every defensive end that's out there. Yeah, we would like to have an whatever defensive end to come here, the guy from the Eagles, the guy here from such and such. We would like, Camp's my man, but we would love to have these other guys like this. Nobody would go out there and just for another player or a person to come here if that was your job. You see what I'm saying? So is it inside baseball that Cam knows that we don't know? But and of course the reports are saying the Saints want Jameis and Jameis want the Saints. But where there's smoke, there's fire. Because the Saints, this is a different administration in terms of being Dennis Allen taking over. They could want another option at the QB position. This is possible, and we have to consider it. Even though I don't like it, we have to consider it. All right. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, I get you, Jay Alexander. I hear you, bro. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I got you. My Ninja, big ups to you. Who that, Dana? What's up, baby? Who that to you as well? All right. Good to see you. All right, much love. Michael says, love to see Wilson or Watson. I can dream big. You can dream big. You can dream, my friend, and dream. Go ahead and dream indeed. It'll be nice. I do like the Russell Wilson, but Russell Flip Wilson, you don't know what he's feeling like from one day to the next. And then, of course, you got a guy like Watson who has all kind of legal aspects of his life that's yet to happen to him. So you don't know what could happen. You make a trade, give up all that draft capital to get this guy, and then he has all these legal issues swirling around with him. So he would not be a good investment for the Saints right now. Regardless of what happens, you don't want to bring that baggage onto your team right now. Let him settle his legal issues. And if it's still an option, then revisit it later. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, 504 Coastal, with our defense and offense, health, and weapons, we can actually win a lot of games with Jameis or Jimmy, but I'm really not a big Jimmy G fan. Yeah, you got to keep him upright. Jameis is the guy for me. And a lot of guys going to feel that way. What's up, Jan? I already don't like Dennis Allen. Now this, I might have to turn my... Don't do it, Jan. Don't do it too early, bro. What's up, Big Ant? I see you, fam. Matthew, how you doing, bro? Much love to brother Matthew. Ferg 318, I see you, fam. Much love to you. Appreciate y'all, guys. Hit the like button for me. All right, so let's get into this, man. And, of course, let's cover it. This is from Sickle. He says, well, that's worrying. Veteran options at quarterback are thinning out. Saints in their safest bet might be another year with Jameis Winston starting under center, but they may go in another direction instead. San Francisco 49er passer Jimmy Garoppolo is expected to be traded this offseason, and New Orleans could be considering him instead of Jameis Winston. It could be a fallback option if things don't work out for Jameis. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm cool with that. If we can't get Jameis Winston, then a fallback option for Jimmy Garoppolo, I can understand that. You get what I'm saying, fam? But not the one before the other. Jameis should be here. He was figuring out the system, doing a really good job before he got hurt. And he should be the guy going into this thing. If Jimmy Garoppolo, if Jameis says, okay, now I want to go to Pittsburgh or or whomever else, or go back to Tampa or whatever, because there's a lot of smoke around that as well, then we have to consider the fact that Saints would have to have a veteran quarterback, and Garoppolo would be a fallback option. Also, Teddy Bridgewater is another guy you could consider as well. But according to what this article is built, that they're writing this article on, is what ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, who wrote in his NFL Scouting Combine notebook, which was the wildest rumor I heard this week. Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo potentially pairing with New Orleans. This would be a surprise since many around the league expect Jameis Winston to return to the Saints. But if Rodgers and Wilson aren't moved, Garoppolo becomes one of the top options available. Maybe New Orleans at least kicks this idea around. So wild rumors, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm going to tell y'all something, fam. With the type of offseason we've been having, the Saints have been having, Coach Payton steps down, surprised a lot of people. The Elvin Kamara debacle that happened in Las Vegas, my goodness. And of course, and then the smallish things like Cam advocating for other quarterbacks not named Jameis Winston. So, I mean, we've had quite the offseason, haven't we, Black and Gold family? Quite the offseason. Well, what's this? Another surprise there. If it's actually where there's smoke, there's fire. We'll see. Now, Garoppolo is a competent quarterback, sure, but he's a textbook definition of passer teams win with, not because of he's racked up 33 wins in a 47 regular season with starts. That's the matter to the Saints head coach Dennis Allen, whose first words about what he values in a quarterback where it wants is a winner. Now, Garoppolo is that with a career winning percentage of 702 and 4-2 record in the playoffs. But you'll see the flaws in that metric if you take a look, take even a moment to glance over his resume. Garoppolo runs an efficient offense, completing almost 68% of his passes by refusing to take risks and avoiding dangerous throws to a fault. Taking sacks, too, that's a lot of thing in him. He will take a sack on your ass, and he needs to throw the ball away. He says a lot that he's averaged just 188 passing yards per game in his career, and that his per-game average with the 49ers has hovered around 242 yards. They know that he can't handle the heavy lifting. No, he can't. And his body, he's a guy that constantly gets hurt every year. And when the chips were down just a few years ago in the Super Bowl, he airmailed the game-winning touchdown pass over Emmanuel Sanders' head that cost his team a title. He might get the Saints back to the postseason by staying out of the way, but there are going to be some times when he has to make a play, and he hasn't been able to do that with consistency. Then you got to consider his injury history. Garoppolo has missed a ton of time, and this is what I've been saying to the family members. Garoppolo, when you talk about Jimmy Garoppolo with me, the first thing that comes to mind with me is the injury history of Jimmy Garoppolo. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. What's up, Kelvin? Kelvin Washington from Phoenix, Arizona. What's up, Kel? Wallace, what's happening, fam? Good to see you. Smallville's in the building as well. Much love, fam. Y'all hit the like button. Brother Dada is in the building as well. What's up, fam? Now let's get into this part of it. Garoppolo has missed a ton of time with a torn ACL, 2 high ankle sprains, a sprained shoulder, and he's currently recovering from a shoulder surgery that won't allow him to start throwing until training camp. For real, we gonna want that? If the Saints brought him in as their starter, he wouldn't get a single snap with the starters until the organized team activities and made the summer workouts in June or July. No, we don't need a quarterback with a tore-up shoulder. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. Cut it out. So, I mean, that's the big thing about Jimmy Garoppolo, the injury history. And he's hurt right now. So it just feels like a bad move. But it's one Allen and the Saints may talk themselves into. They could see Garoppolo as a one-year Band-Aid to keep the offense afloat while quarterback for the future, maybe Ian Book, a rookie draft pick, gets prepared to replace him. Ironically, that's exactly what Garoppolo has been doing in San Francisco with Trey Lance waiting to replace him. If the Saints are comparing Garoppolo and Winston head-to-head, his career winning percentage, now you got to look at that, because if they considering both, Saints are comparing Garoppolo and Winston head-to-head, his higher career winning percentage, 702 against Jameis' 428, and lower interception rate at 2.7% against Jameis 3.3 are going to look better. Now, of course, these numbers and statistics from Jameis Winston time in Tampa Bay was not comparable. Now, of course, current Saints version of Jameis Winston could mean something if you would factor in his time. Now, last year he would have tore the NFL up if he hadn't got torn up by the Tampa Bay Buccaneer linebacker pulling them down from behind. Now, they're saying maybe Garoppolo could be acquired for a 4th or 5th round pick in this year's draft, given his low level of play and lengthy injury history. He's under contract for just one more year, so the Saints could walk away from the deal in 2023 to go in another direction. But if that's the case, why would you rather go with somebody like Teddy Bridgewater, who plays a similar error-free, low-ceiling style of football, but who won't cost you a draft pick and may come at an even more affordable contract. A lot of stuff circulating around him that if Jameis is not the guy, they could revisit Teddy Bridgewater. You know, it would hurt to see Winston's time with the Saints end like this, given the strides that he's made to clean up mistakes in his game and disappointing injury that cut his season short last year. And he worked hard to get back from his knee surgery and deserves an opportunity to start again in the league. But it's possible the Saints can end up pivoting to Garoppolo should Winston go somewhere else. General Manager Mickey Loomis said recently that the team views Winston as one of their options, but wasn't so sure a reunion with New Orleans was on Winston's mind. He wants to test the market. He gave the Saints 2 cheap contracts, and he wants to test his value in free agency. Would Jameis give the Saints another 1-year prove-it deal? No. I mean, 2 years, of course, he's coming off the injury, but still in all, I gave you 1 year for super cheap, so cheap I defy my dumbass agent. The second year, I gave you another cheap contract for me to come in and play. The third year, I can't just keep giving you guys 1-year contracts. At least take a chance on me. Give me a 2-year contract with an option on the third, or, you know, or something like that. Give me something. And the reality is, yeah, you want to give Jameis a 2 or 3 year, I say a 3-year contract, 2 years with an option for the third. Give Jameis the contract and draft the quarterback to groom underneath Jameis Winston. I'm not going against Ian Book. I know we got a lot of book lovers out there, but at the end of the day, what I'm saying is you won't create competition for a guy. And this is a guy, if there's a guy in the draft that you fancy and that's there at you at 18 and you feel or in the second round that you feel good, because really 18 in his first round, maybe you can go for a wide receiver. But then again, if the Saints gamble a bit and they see a quarterback they like, they might take him. This draft is really wide open. We think wide receiver, we think offensive line, we think running back, we think all these positions, but really, truly, honestly, the Saints always seem to surprise us when they come down to drafting in that first rounder, i.e. Cesar Ruiz, i.e. Davenport when we thought Lamar Jackson was on the board. Things like that always seem to happen, isn't it, fam? And especially to us. Jim Kev, what's up? Barack Alone, my brother DeWright, State of the Pelicans. Much love to y'all, fam. Josh, the Pelicans fan. What's up, Josh? Draft Dad, how you doing? He said, I just want Jameis to come back with an actual receiver. Yeah, I know. I'm with you on that, Draft Dad. Much love to you, fam. I'm with you on that. All right, so anyway, let's see who else we got going on here. All right, so as we keep going, Carlton, what's up, Carlton? Big ups to you, fam. Appreciate you being on the live stream as well. All right, Tim says Saints leveraging to get Jameis cheap. I know Jameis is not stupid. He's going to play that game where he uses other teams as offers to see if they can get the Saints money up. If the Saints want Jameis Winston, you'll go to a Pittsburgh and see how much y'all won't give for me. And multiple guys won't give Jameis a lengthy contract. And James bring back the Saints, say it's Saints. Y'all won't do match this deal, and we'll see where they go if they're comfortable with it. Anyway, let's move on. This is very intriguing. We got to follow this story close because the biggest shoe to fall next is who's the quarterback of the Saints, man. That's the biggest thing. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is from ESPN here. New Orleans Saints face big dollar decisions with Terron Armstead, Marcus Williams, and also at the QB position. This is Mike Triplett of ESPN.com. New Orleans Saints have made it clear that they don't plan to rebuild under Dennis Allen, so they'll stay aggressive and free agent despite major cap constraints. However, how do you care about getting players? He says, how do they care about getting players at the right value? So they will create some tough choices with how much to spend on the quarterback and 2 ESPN top 7 unrestricted free agents, left tackle Terron Armstead and safety Marcus Williams. The Saints are not expected to use the franchise tag on Williams for the second straight year, source told ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, which is commonsensical. We know that the Saints last year, they felt good by tagging him at 10.6 because they felt good paying him that amount of money there. But really, truly, and honestly speaking, outside of that, the reality is if the Saints want to sign Marcus Williams, they got to go straight up. Now, of course, Marcus Williams is unrestricted. He'll go into free agency and see what he can do. Now, they do have some other free agent safeties out there like Tyrann Mathieu and others that the Saints can look at than Marcus Williams. But the reality is, like, if you can't get Marcus Williams back at the rate that you feel comfortable paying him, then you have to go in a different direction, which is whether it's through the draft or Tyrann Mathieu or any other safety that you feel comfortable with. But Marcus Williams wants north of $14 million. He wants to be one of the top 3 highest paid safeties in the league. Some people feel comfortable with that. Some people don't. So we'll have to figure out exactly which direction. So that's really big too. The Marcus Williams conundrum and also what happens with Jameis Winston. So free agency, these guys are going to see if they can elevate their value from a monetary standpoint, both Jameis and him. But Terron Armstead is another very special case. But no, this is not a surprised that they won't tag Williams. We knew we knew they wouldn't. But at the same time, you got to work out a deal to get the man under contract, man. All right, so let's keep it going here. That the plan with Armstead, either before Tuesday's deadline, if they resign either player, it will likely be a multi-year agreement, which also help them manage the cap costs better. Here's a look at New Orleans' biggest financial decisions. And then, of course, do we have enough cap for all of them? Technically, yes. Whether or not you approve of the Saints' method of constantly restructuring deals to move cap costs into the future, kicking the can, they actually begin this offseason with enough wiggle room to go from 75 to more than 30 million under the cap without cutting a single player, and they can backload the cap charges on the new deal they signed. Now, that's why they aren't about to dismantle the roster with elite players like Thomas, Kamara, Ramczyk, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, and Marshawn Lattimore still in their primes. However, General Manager Mickey Loomis, he says, reducing your margin for error. So even they spend aggressively, they can do limits on what they believe each player is worth. Thank you, Mickey. Last year, for example, they chose to resign Ramczyk and Lattimore to contracts nearly $20 million per year and place the franchise tag on Williams despite being even worse cap situation, but they choose to let defensive end Trey Hendrickson sign elsewhere, a decision that worked out very well for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, how much will they spend on the QB? It's possible the Saints will aim very high in the quarterback market. Potential trade for guys like Aaron Rodgers. That's getting extremely slim because of the fact that Aaron Rodgers is working on an extension to sign back with Green Bay. Russell Flip Wilson keeps flipping from one day to the next that he wants to leave, he don't want to leave, and all this kind of stuff. We don't have time for that. For somebody, you got to be more decisive than that. And however, there's been no indication yet that either quarterback will be available or if New Orleans would be the highest bidder. So it's much more likely the Saints will bring back a familiar free agent like Jameis Winston. That's been the mantra of familiarity, consistency, and reliability of the Saints have focused this entire offseason. Why change that up? Winston should be considered the odds-on favorite after he went 5-2 as a starter in New Orleans last year after tearing his ACL. Regardless, this is the Saints' top priority and only must on this list, Loomis told reporters at NFL Scouting Combine, that they're approaching the position with, quote, with a sense of urgency for sure. Yeah. And he said it will be tough for them to rely on landing a starting quarterback in the draft if they trade up to the 18th pick. Now, is Armstead worth it? Now, this might be the trickiest question on the list. When the 6'5", 300-pound is healthy, he's as good as any offensive lineman in the NFL. But that's the conundrum, that he doesn't remain. Terron Armstead misses a ton of games, man. He really does. And do you want to pay him that kind of money, or just simply, we got Ramczyk. I've been saying this. He will highest paid offensive lineman will be your blindside guy, especially if he's a tackle. Ramczyk, who played that position in in college, will be able to slide over to that position, occupy the blindside position. Now, the rest of the line we got to figure that out. But the right tackle position is you have options there. You can draft a guy. Maybe you can see if you got one on the roster. Is Landon Young there? Is Andrews Pete ready to move to right tackle? There's some things the Saints need to consider doing with the offensive line, no doubt about it. Adding depth under it is definitely the case. But what about Terron? He's still is the best end of his 2020 season with Kamara's historic 6-touchdown performance on Christmas Day. It was basically Armstead's highest reel. As you can see, a healthy Armstead could be big enough difference maker to help turn a contender into a Super Bowl winner. Once again, see the Bengals. The upside could drive Armstead's prices to $20 million per year. That's simply not enough. That we don't have enough to even much look at signing a man for 20 a year. And actually, more than 20. He does indicate it's more than 20 a year. Upward to $24 million a year. So unfortunately, health has been a nagging issue for Armstead, who turns 31 in July. He missed 9 games in 21 because of an elbow and knee injuries. And see, that's those lower extremity injuries for a 6'5", 300-pounder who's 31 years old. You got to watch out for. Surgery to repair his right knee following the season. He missed 21 games combined from 2016 to 2018 because of knee, hip, shoulder, and pectoral injuries. Because of his health, and his health did improve in 2019, and much love to brother Terron, one of my favorite people. But also he changed his diet, got better. But the injuries, that's a lot of wear and tear on a big guy like Terron Armstead. Saints just not, they can't get imaginative with it, but why would you? Terron Armstead, that money, he's going to command a lot of money in free agency. The Saints would do themselves a service to be more consistent and more sensible monetarily speaking, and see if they can find a tackle on the roster that they're already paying, or perhaps draft one, or, you know, they got options on the offensive line. But Terron Armstead is not a guy the Saints could afford unless brother Terron takes a deal that's feasible for the black and gold. The only question is, will he? The Saints have shown interest in re-signing Armstead. If they get outbid, they have a decent fallback option in veteran James Hurst, especially because they have one of NFL's premier right tackles in Ramczyk. But the Saints need to get better production out of their guard spots than they did in 21. Amen to that, triplet. Amen to that. Now, veteran options in James Hurst, absolutely not. James Hurst is the 6th offensive lineman off the field. He covers the tackle positions and the guard positions. Let's keep it like that. Hurst has problem with speed blockers, and I don't think Hurst would do you well as a full-time starting option on your offensive line. He's better in small increments, like filling in for people, 2 or 3 games here for an injured person. That's what I like Hurst at, not as a starter. But if you're the Saints, you're looking at those options if you're not drafting a guy. You're looking at Landon Young, who was brought in from Kentucky. They're big on him. He can play tackle or guard. He's a cheap option. Andrews Pete, who's there as well, and James Hurst. Those are guys that you can kind of look at the mix and see if those will be the guys that'll take over the right tackle position. So still a little flux there. And still in all, I've been saying this, the Saints offensive line still needs to be worked out. We got Ruth Shaw as the offensive line coach. He's been there for several years, but they will have to figure out who's who. We know that Ramczyk moves to blindside tackle to protect Jameis his blindside. The guard positions are a bit flux. Is Andrew Pete going back to guard or to tackle? Because you have to consider that, being that he has a lot of experience playing tackle. He was drafted as a tackle. He learned how to play the offensive guard position, left and right guard, and got 2 Pro Bowls behind it. So, I mean, he's a guy that they trust, even before they got James Hurst, when they gave him the contract, they brought Hurst in so they don't have to do all that sliding. But when Terron got hurt, it was the bulk of the time, it was Andrews Pete filling in for him at the blindside position. I put that out there because people poo-poo Pete, who's really a tackle, not so much as a guard. But yeah, he need to get better at what he do, get stronger, get more fundamental. He got the paper and he got to stay healthy. That's the big thing. So you don't want a situation where you have an injured Armstead that you're paying top-notch money for, and then you slide Andrews Pete over there and he gets hurt too. No, you're going to have more of a reliable option there. Maybe it's the young guy Hurst. We'll figure out as we move further into the season. Now, moving on to the Marcus Williams question. Is he worth it? And this is weird because a lot of people sees when they talk about Marcus Williams. It's a 50-50 mixed bag between a lot of the Who Dat Nation. When you talk about Marcus Williams, like last year, I was like, no, not the year before last, excuse me. But this past year, I was like, yeah, because I like Chris Richard. And Chris Richard helped veterans and young people reach high levels in their play from the secondary position. And he did the same thing for Marcus Williams. So I would love to see what Coach Richard could do in another year with a guy like Marcus Williams, who does have all of the physical tools, and he helps, teaching him to see the things that he needs to see and where he needs to be at times, and working on his tackling ability, which he's gotten better at. But Coach Richard can help him out with all that stuff. So because of Coach Richard, I'm leaning to giving him the money. But a lot of people like, nah, Q, let's go somewhere else. Well, let's see what's out there. Williams has not quite risen to Armstead's level yet, but keeping him could be more realistic because he is younger, healthier, and cheaper. The trick is to sell him whether he's worth the salary he should command, somewhere in the neighborhood of the top market safeties, Jamal Adams at 17.6, Harrison Smith at 16, Justin Simmons at 15, and Buda Baker at 14.7. That's where he wants to be. And he doesn't compare himself to Jamal Adams or Harrison Smith or Justin Simmons, but he does compare himself to a Buda Baker, which he does have more interceptions than Buda Baker. But not more interceptions, but he does have some of his stats are better than Buda Baker, but Buda Baker overall tackling his way through the roof. Then he does have more interceptions. And that's the thing that really pushes Marcus Williams there because of the interceptions. Now, Williams hasn't made a Pro Bowl, but he's widely considered one of the top young safeties in the league. The PFF ranked him among the top 7 in each of the past 3 years. 6'1", 195-pounder has an obvious effect on New Orleans defense that ranks among the NFL's top 6 in both yardage and points allowed since he became an immediate starter in the second round since in 2017. Now, Dennis Allen will certainly have some say in the matter because he's a former safety and the defensive backs coach who spent those past 5 years with Williamson as the coordinator. And he's the coach now. So that would make sense, being that he is a pro Marcus Williams guy. He's the head coach now. So that could push him into bringing him on board. Now, if the Saints lose Marcus, they still have decent depth at the position. But fellow starters Malcolm Jenkins and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson are both heading in the final year of their contracts. And veteran backup P.J. Williams is also unrestricted. So they might seek a replacement if they let him go. Don't sleep on the Marcus Williams question, because, you know, he's going to go and they're going to have people that want to offer him money. He's a free agent. And we'll see where it all goes. The Saints won't don't tag him. They won't tag him. But they won't see what other teams will offer him and whether they are comfortable playing that. So pretty much when you see stuff like Terron Armstead, Marcus Williams, Jameis Winston, they're going to let the market dictate the value of said player. They're going to let the market dictate. And if the market dictates a rate that they're comfortable with, of course, they're going to snatch them. But if it's beyond that, the Saints won't, you know, they'll go to other options. But the point is, they need safety help. In the draft, it'll do yourself a favor to look at bringing or drafting a safety somewhere in the top 5 rounds. You're going to need some help in the safety back there in the safety room. With Jenkins getting old and possibly Marcus Williams, they don't want to pay for him. Okay, what else do the Saints need to spend on? Okay, they need to receive a revival, though they could make a draft priority if they wind up spending big elsewhere. Other restricted free agents they could prioritize is linebacker Quan Alexander, who's given the Saints 2 one-year deals. Does he then do it again? Wide receiver Traquan Smith, why would you want him? And Trevor Siemian along with Williams. So P.J. Williams, you can see him because P.J. is a cheap option. You know, he had a really good season. So there might be some people looking at P.J. Williams as a safety option. But we could see P.J. coming back, perhaps Quan. I don't know. But Quan Alexander is the conundrum there. He's the question. But Traquan Smith, absolutely not. It's time for him to go. Peace out, Traquan. And then, of course, the final article, fam, comes from NOLA.com's Luke Johnson. What's the buzz surrounding the Saints after the NFL Combine? Here's what he thinks. All right, NFL Combine New Orleans, in Indianapolis in New Orleans is about much more than watching the next batch of NFL players run fast and jump high. Indianapolis this time of year serves as an NFL information superhighway. Agents, teams, executives, coaches, media vendors, all there having conversations in restaurants, bars, behind closed doors, private hotel rooms. It's one period on the NFL calendar nobody has to pick up a phone. New Orleans GM Mickey Loomis was present, as were top offensive lieutenants Jeff Ireland, Kyle Harley, Michael Parenton, Dennis Allen, and the Saints coaching staff were there too. And they're doing more than forming their opinions on the 2022 draft class. After several days among everybody who's anybody in the NFL landscape, here's how I believe the offseason is shaping up for New Orleans. This is Luke's account. Market rates. You could probably sum up the guiding principle of the Saints all season by saying it will be market driven. I absolutely agree with Luke Johnson on this. Just said it. Is that the Saints are going to let the market dictate what they're willing to pay for Marcus Williams, or Terron Armstead, or Jameis Winston, and many of the free agents that's available. They'll allow the market to dictate the value. And if they're comfortable with the price or whatnot, they'll go with them. Now, that could be a problem with a guy like Marcus Williams, especially if somebody comes in and want to elevate the price. It could price him out of the Saints. But a lot of people anticipating the Saints will bring Marcus Williams back, and Jameis Winston as well. Terron Armstead, not so much. Guys like P.J. Williams, yes. Quan Alexander could be as well, depending on what the market is driving. New Orleans will likely be more active in free agent than it was a year ago when its top free agent acquisitions were Tanu Passanio and Nick Vannett. But the Saints probably will wait out the first wave of free agency and go after the mid-tier players with team-friendly proposals. I absolutely agree with you on that, Luke. And we talked about that in previous streams when I made mention of second-tier players and wide receivers like Cedric, and the other guy was Russell Gage, and possibly reaching at guys like Gallup, and, you know, getting veteran wide receivers, DJ Chalk, you know, that fit that second and third tier wide receiver group, to bring in a veteran along with some of the guys you might draft to kind of help balance the wide receiver room, so you get that production and not put too much pressure on the young wide receiver to help the Saints win today or right now. You get what I'm saying? So I absolutely agree with that. The principle also applies to the Saints' own level of free agents, offensive tackle Terron Armstead and Marcus Williams. Though New Orleans could, in theory, use the franchise tag on either Armstead or Williams, the team does not intend to go that route. The deadline is March the 8th, meaning both players are destined for unrestricted free agency. That's tomorrow. So you'll know what time. The Saints going to let the market dictate those guys. And the Saints appear to be willing to let both players test those waters before engaging in any substantive contract talks, which is smart. Now, this is where market-driven comes into play if there was a competitive market for Armstead and Williams, one that will pay them at or near the highest level of their respective positions. Now, New Orleans would likely let them sign the deal elsewhere. For Armstead, this could mean north of $22 million. That's Sport Track numbers, by the way. They got it at 24. So he's a bit conservative. For Williams, it could mean more than $14 million annually, which is what I kept saying, north of $13 million, north of $14 million, between the 14 and 15 million. We just showed the contracts of some of the highest paid safeties in the business. He wants to be up there with Buda Baker at 14 plus whatever. If the market does not develop for either player, the Saints could conceivably be in the mix to bring one of them back at the right price. At this point, however, the Saints are bracing for the loss of both players. More Williams than Armstead, because Armstead right now is considered one of the top 1 or 2 best offensive tackles in free agency. He's definitely going to get a big contract from somebody. He's just 31 years old, best in the business. Right now, he's the best on the market. And needs and wants. Some of this is obviously dependent on what happens with Armstead and Williams in free agency. But as the Saints roster is currently constructed, there are probably the priority areas in free agency and the NFL draft not organized in order of importance. You got the quarterback, running back, receiver, offensive line, and safety. I agree with every last one of those. We keep talking about that. The quarterback position, whether it's Jameis, you get a 2 or 3 year deal with Jameis Winston. The Saints should still draft the quarterback this year. Where, I'll let you guys talk about it. But if it's not, I would say in the second round somewhere, you can find a guy like perhaps Strong from Nevada or one of the guys falling to him there. I like Strong though, as a second rounder. But, if you get one of those fantastic quarterbacks, say for instance, Malik falls to you at 18, you think the Saints pass him up for a wide receiver that's deep, which is a pretty deep draft for, that you can get in the second round? That makes they got that board up there. They got that Saints got that board. They put those 100+ players or so on that board and scratch those guys out of order of importance. If they've come off that, they scratch them out, and then usually they see if they got the best value player on the board that fits what they want to do. They're gonna ride with them. I still say bring Jameis back for a 3-year deal, draft a young quarterback to compete. And I know you got Ian Book, but you can compete with Ian Book, get a guy to compete with Ian Book and not just turn the job over to him. Have it where you have 2 young quarterbacks competing for the position. So quarterback, I absolutely agree. Running back, because of Kamara's debacle in Las Vegas. Receiver, that one already. Offensive line, I've been saying that for a while, fam. I'm not sure. I don't like Cesar Salad Ruiz as a right guard or a guard period. I don't like that. I think he should be tried at center, which means McCoy should flip to guard. And then whether or not where do the Saints go with the opposite tackle position? Do they go in the draft with it? Is it Andrews Pete? Is it James Hurst? Is it Landon Young? That has to be figured out. So is some flux going to go on there depending on where the movement is? But I don't think we should go into the upcoming season with Cesar Salad Ruiz as your right guard. He's not a right guard. The man is playing out of position. At least giving him opportunity to play the position that he was drafted at, which was center. Let's correct that, shall we? So we do have some flex, and then behind that, offensively, from a line perspective, we need depth there. Our offensive line depth this past season, besides the C-19 stuff and all the injuries, but my goodness, I don't like Kelvin Throckmorton. He's a turnstile. You go in the department store, you see Kelvin Throckmorton, you just push Kelvin Throckmorton like the spinning doors, and he just spin around and you walk past him. That's what Kelvin Throckmorton. He's a 6'8" turnstile, and you just push him. And then he spins around and lets you up in the building. So, we need some depth there. We need some depth, to be honest with you, what's going on. All right, so in safety position, I just talked about the safety position. Malcolm Jenkins getting old in the tooth. You could lose Marcus Williams, and then behind him you got PJ, who's unrestricted, and JT Gray, who's coming off of a Pro Bowl as a special teams player. So you're going to need some help at the safety position. Now, New Orleans still has some work to do to get under the salary cap by the start of the league year, which is March the 16th, which is about a week or so away. And it will almost certainly give itself enough wiggle room to sign some free agents and cross some items off the wish list. Now, quarterback and receiver are pretty clear needs, as are the offensive line and safety if the top free agents walk. Running back is an interesting one, though. Kamara had a career high usage rate in 2022, will almost certainly face league discipline. Could be half the year. Could, we don't know. It is Roger Goodell after all. League discipline after offseason arrest. Ingram turns 33 during the 2022 season, and Tony Jones was either injured or ineffective after winning the number 2 job in training camp. So this is great points right here. Great points. So is this the draft that you reach and get something going on with these people? Now let's keep it moving. Voided years. One of the tools that the Saints have used heavily in recent years to manipulate the salary cap has been to tack on dummy years. I call them phantom years to the end of contracts. Now, essentially, New Orleans has voided years to some of its restructured contracts in order to further the spread out, which is a prorated bonus money, and lessen the player's cap hit on the year-to-year basis. Now, the player's contract still expires on schedule, but the team carries money from the contract into future years. Now, the problem with the approach could be made apparent this offseason if Armstead signs elsewhere, for instance. The Saints will be on the hook for that $13 million cap charge in 2022. Now, a result of voided years, this also is called dead money, and Armstead is not only potentially departing free agent who could cost the Saints dead money charged this year. The Saints don't give a damn about their dead money, to be honest with you. If it would be a surprise to see the Saints scale back their use of voided years this offseason for 2 reasons. First, so many players on this current roster already have voided years on today. I know I'm about to try to tell you. They got a bunch of them they did that on. Mike Thomas, Andrews Pete, David Onyemata, to name a few. And second, the Saints have a lot of tricks up their sleeve to manipulate the cap, but there's no getting around the dead money, and they are wary of letting that become a runaway problem. Saints have not been concerned with salary cap issues at all. They've been the most irresponsible team in the NFL for several seasons of how they manipulate the cap. It's all creative, and it all looks all fizzy, and it all looks all beautiful and bright and glycerin and sprinkling and all shiny and shit. But what they did is it's just putting lipstick on the pig. They're putting a ballerina dress and lipstick on the pig. That's all it is. The only way to handle the salary cap situation is to handle it square, to be responsible with it. We got an opportunity after these last couple of years where the Saints put $170+ million up on their cap. Coming out of this stuff, we could play it right and do it responsibly, draft responsibly, make the right choices with the second and third tier free agents, and don't gamble too heavy. And we got a core and just be responsible with that. We're not that far off from putting together a really responsible offense and moving into the future with that. We don't need to be doing this stuff that we did the last couple of years, especially with the C9 team lurking. Just because they pulled the stuff down don't mean that it can't come back later on. This is the world we currently living in. So anyway, it might be disappointing to a lot of football people out there in Louisiana, but it sure sounds like the Saints are going to play the Cincinnati Bengals in London next year rather than playing them at the Caesars Superdome. The schedule is not official yet, but if this does happen, the Bengals stars and LSU players Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase won't be playing in Louisiana for a long time. It feels like the most likely path for the Saints at quarterback is Jameis Winston. It's just some tidbits, but there's also some dominoes that need to fall. It appears that the market for superstar quarterbacks failed to materialize after all. Though the Aaron Rodgers saga is still going on in Green Bay, one of the more interesting reports out of Indianapolis came from ESPN Fowler, who we just covered that early in the show. That's what the damn stream named after this. Winston, who would likely cost less, both in terms of salary. Garoppolo has $27 million cap hit for the upcoming year. The last year of his contract, in terms of assets, as the Saints would have to compensate the Niners. That said, New Orleans is clearly leaving no stone unturned when it comes to the biggest decision of the offseason. Number 3, one addendum to the quarterback conversation appears the idea of Taysom Hill potentially competing a starting role in New Orleans has run its course. Once he recovers from multiple 21 injuries, it was likely he will be locked into his valuable multi-purpose role, which is it's no need to go there no more because most of that was Coach Payton trying to turn Taysom Hill into Steve Young, which we knew he was. We kept saying the man is not Steve Young. You're putting too much pressure on him. He's a good role-playing guy, and he doesn't need to be the quarterback. Sorry for our Taysom Hill quarterback believers. The man's not. Number 4, nothing appears imminent, but here is a reminder that outstanding young center Eric McCoy will soon be eligible for a contract extension after this upcoming year. Well, this upcoming year, 1 year left, him and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Do you bring Eric McCoy back? See, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Eric McCoy should get extensions, man, for real. Do the Saints, this is a question to the Great Saint Think Tank. Do the Saints factor that into their decisions when they're thinking about paying Marcus Williams? Let me know in the chat. That's a question to the Great Saint Think Tank. Put your GM hats on, family, and answer that question for me. Put it in the chat. Let me know. Does the decision to play Marcus Williams factor in the decision to pay Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Eric McCoy? Because if you paying him, you're going to make him one of the top 4 or 5 highest paid centers safety, in the game of football. Where does that place Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? You just broke off Marshawn Lattimore this past year, and now you're going to make Marcus Williams that. What about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? You know, that's questions you got. You can't pay everybody, so you're gonna have to do. That's what I was saying about Terron Armstead. You can't pay everybody. Somebody got to take the L. You know, but you got to keep your best young players that you developed into people. McCoy and Chauncey Gardner are one of those people. Offensive lineman Cesar Salad Ruiz is number 1. This is another one has not played up to expectation. That's because he's playing out of position. Since the Saints selected him with the first round pick in 2020's draft, but as things currently stand, it would be a surprise to see New Orleans look for a replacement for Ruiz in the starting lineup this offseason. The Saints hired a respected offensive line coach, Doug Marrone, this offseason, and anticipate a full offseason will be beneficial for Ruiz. That's a great point because, listen, we've talked about that. We've talked about the Saints offensive line. Ramczyk is there coming off injury, and then there's flux there the rest of the way. The Saints won't be able to form Terron Armstead unless he takes a pay cut. So hasta la vista to brother Terron. Outside of that, McCoy, does he stay at center? If he stays at center, that means another year of Cesar Ruiz at the guard position, which is a no-no. He is not a guard. He is not a guard. He's not a guard. The man's playing out of position. Can we at least see what he looks like at center for an extended period of time? He actually did pretty decently at center in games when he had the opportunity to do the job. So, I mean, that's what he does. Could we put him at center and move McCoy, who we know can play the guard position? Matter of fact, you make McCoy a guard, he's going to be a Pro Bowler the same damn year. And that's also other stuff you got to figure out. But Cesar Ruiz, that's a big one. Great point on Doug Marrone. But even Doug Marrone, as good as he is, he ain't no magician. And he ain't Jesus. And he damn sure ain't laying and healing nobody. It's still realistic. You got to be able to give players an opportunity to get to a position where they be able to at least be able to play in a position where it helps them out. Okay? So that's my thing. Now, beyond the 2 big free agents, the Saints seem likely to use the market-driven approach with few others on their roster, including fan favorite Quan Alexander. New Orleans liked what it saw from Pete Werner in his rookie season, did really well. And it could turn to the weak side job over to him if Alexander receives a free agent offer that is too rich for the Saints. So hopefully we can get him back as well because I love what Quan Alexander bought for the team. But really the Saints defense outside of the Marcus Williams question is something intriguing. You think about it, but the onus is really on the offense. The offense is behind the defense. It really is. If you remember last year, and we went to camp, fam. If you met last year, we went to camp and we went down to camp, and I watched the Saints defense kicks the offense tail up and down the field. And that was like when they played, that's where the defense was. The defense was aggressive and they were just all over the offense. It really was. And that was what they set off in training camp. It went through the mini camp, the training camp, preseason into the season when they practiced against each other. The defense was ahead of the offense. And the offense, because of the talent, we didn't have Mike Thomas and a few other things. We had to lose a lot of people from the offensive side of the ball because of the salary cap issues. Is just what it was. Now going forward, the Saints have to focus on restocking the cupboards, offensively speaking. Every room offensively speaking needs an attention from the front office for real. We talk about wide receivers. You're right. The wide receiver room needs help. It does. Draft picks high in the wide receivers, and also second and third tier wide receivers to come in. Russell Gage. What's his name? The guy from the San Francisco 49ers. What's his name? His name escaped me. Y'all put it in the chat. DJ Chalk. Who else is there? I know people gonna say Christian Kirk, who he probably gonna command some change. But second and third, Michael Gallup, perhaps. Guys at the second and third tier level, we need guys like that in the wide receiver room. So the pressure and the onus is not put on the shoulders of the young wide receivers coming in. We need some veterans to help out. We need to use a veteran tight end to help push the room because Vanette ain't it. So we need guys like that. We also could use running back, a good running back in the draft, and they got some good ones. You're going to get in the round because of Alvin Kamara missing. That's going to be a blessing in disguise, by the way. With Alvin Kamara, you get a dynamic running back and mix him with Kamara when he finally comes back and you shake him with something. So the Saints have an opportunity with what we have because the Saints have multiple draft picks, and when the compensatory pick model is calculated, the Saints will get some of those as well. So that won't draft everybody, but when you usually have that many draft picks, the Saints tend to use to start trading and moving around and moving up to get other players. You see what I'm saying? So it's intriguing. It's going to be a wonderful offseason and very interesting. And like I said, the Saints are going to allow Jameis Winston and guys like Marcus Williams test free agency to test and see where their market value will reside. So this stuff about Jimmy Garoppolo, I hear y'all fam on the Jimmy Garoppolo stuff. I really do. I hear y'all on that because I'm not a Garoppolo guy. I like Jameis, but in case Jameis gets an offer that the Saints don't want to match up with, what would be your fallback option? I say Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater be available. He's familiar with your system, yeah. But they sniffing around Jimmy Garoppolo for whatever reason. I don't know. I can't explain it, man. This is Dennis Allen's team, and that's his thought process. But if I was him, I'd stay the hell away from Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm just keeping it real with you. No, it's not Kendrick Bourne's GM Kev. It's the, what's his name? It's, what's the man name? It's the other wide receiver. Dallas has Gallup, and the 49ers has his name's Cedric. I think his name is Cedric. That's what I'm thinking about. The guy's name's Cedric. I don't know his last first name. I think his name is Cedric. Y'all probably know who I'm talking about now. So yeah, this is some of the stuff right here, fam, that we went over with. So yeah, I know there's not a people that's not going to be Jimmy Garoppolo guys, but if I had my pick and Jameis was going in free agency and decided to go somewhere else, which is a possibility, a slim one in my opinion, and who else would you go after? Teddy Bridgewater be the next guy, you know. But what if Dennis Allen want Teddy? He wants Garoppolo for whatever stinking reason, you know. I mean, we'll see. But at that point, you have to understand. But my thing is this, as well with the black and gold. We got to be more responsible, and learn from the mistakes of the past. We really got fortunate with Drew Brees. When Drew Brees was there for, 20 years or whatever it was, he was down here 16 plus years as a Saints quarterback. That rarely happens. It's only a handful of times that's happened in NFL history. And New England had one guy that did it, and Brees was the other one. So, I mean, we really got fortunate with that situation. But really, truly, and honestly, the Saints should have had a draft pick in place behind Drew when Drew sat down, that the other guy steps up. And that's usually the most functional model that most NFL teams use when it comes down to such things. Like, you'll draft a young quarterback and let him sit behind your quarterback until his time comes, and then you slide him up in there and let him do his thing. He'll have the familiarity with the offense. He'll know he'll be there. He'll have all those years to kind of see stuff. And, you see what I'm saying? That's the model. But the reality is, I would re-up with Jameis for 3 years. I give him a 3-year deal, draft a quarterback, maybe not in the first round, but if Malik Willis was there, I would take Malik Willis. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I would take Malik Willis. I ain't gonna lie. If he fell to me at 18, I'm drafting Malik Willis. That guy is something else. But in the second round, maybe you get a Riddler. You get Ritter from Cincinnati. He's a guy. Carson Strong from Nevada. I watched tape on those. Those are pretty good quarterbacks in the second round that you can take and then develop them into good quarterbacks. So, these are guys that you can look at. And then with all the picks, the Saints going to have quite a few picks there. Perhaps we can kind of move that ahead. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you, fam, for becoming a pro megastar. Much love. Yeah. Much love. Thank you, Brandon. Much love to you, my friend. Thank you for becoming a pro megastar. Much love to you, my friend. Thank you. I'm just saying, fam. What's up, TP, baby? How you doing? What's up, Carla? All right. What's up, Derek? Derek Abshire. What's up, fam? Thank you for subscribing 4 days back, bro. Young City Night Ward, Nola Bars. Who that, Dana? New Orleans East 74. What's up, man? Khalil, I see you, fam. Much love to all y'all, man. Much love to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all being here. What's up, Etra? Who that to you, baby? Much love, fam. Appreciate y'all. Mask Up Podcast. Brother Raymond, I see you, fam. Much love to all y'all, man. I'm going to stop and give a shout out to the fam. What's up, Brother Jarrell? Who that to you, fam? Appreciate y'all being here. Hit the like button, man. What's up, Hoodie? Much love to my dog, Hoodie. All right. Appreciate you, bro. All right. Much love to all y'all, man. Appreciate y'all being here. Brother Tramal, I see you, fam. Much love. So I mean, yeah, this is the questions that we face with. But yes, I kind of thinking about it, fams, like the Saints they're gonna let the market test. They're not going. Marcus Williams is somebody I would be interested in bringing back. But if you don't, Tyrann Mathieu out there. They got quite free agents out there that's out there that you can bring in. But this all requires draft picks in the same position. If you bring Marcus Williams back, you're still gonna need a safety. You definitely, because Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Eric McCoy is up for contracts coming up soon. So are you going to top out Marcus Williams, or are you going – they got some pretty good safeties. I'm not advocating to get rid of the man, but if he's priced out of your price range and you already trying to get your ass up under the cap by 40-something million, that's one thing to get back in the black again, just to get back to, get under the overage that you was under. The next thing would be to be able to get enough money so you can sign your draft picks and free agents. That's a whole nother thing. So we'll see how it all goes. Brother Sean, what's up, Big Sean? He says, Q, why do I get the feeling we'll go defense with our first pick? Because you're a man with sense. And the Saints always seem to surprise us in the draft, like what they did with Cesar Salad-Ruiz and what they did with Davenport that year. When they took Davenport, I thought they was moving up to get Lamar Jackson. And they put Davenport. I was like, what? So the Saints, man, they got a history of surprising the little, you know what out of you. They really do. They really do. They really do. Very rarely do you see the Saints like going after somebody and getting somebody to go in these weird directions. And it works out sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. It's just what it is. But we do a lot of looking at these players. Like I've been looking at a lot of these draft picks, and the wide receiver position is a very deep position. Now, don't get me wrong. You got 5, maybe 6 game-changing wide receivers that can come in and set your offense on fire. We know who they are. We talked about Jameson Williams. When, he gets healthy enough, he looks good. We talk about Garrett from him and Olave. These are barn-burning, top-notch, talented wide receivers. You got Trey Burke, who didn't perform as well as you would like, but still in all, he's a stud regardless of what happened in the combine. And you got other guys as well that you won't throw into that mixture. That's actually pretty good. That's the top 5 wide receivers there that are absolutely fantastic. And then really in the second round, you still going to have a lot of talented wide receivers you can dig to. So the Saints right now, fam, they're like, man, listen, we got Jameis on a 2 or 3 year contract. We want to get a quarterback here. What about Ian Book, Q? Well, listen, the book is not completely on in and in, and you want to get 2 young quarterbacks. Let them compete with each other. Let them bring out the best of each other. And remember, competition is not a sin like Rockefeller said. It is actually healthy. And any environment needs competition. That's how you get cheaper competitive gas prices and products on your prices. When you see stuff all high, that means monopoly people done moved in. But the cold part about it is not to get economical, but the reality is you control that. You can say tomorrow or today that I'm not going to shop at Walmart. Each one of as one of y'all say, you might have to drive a little further to go out to the small business store and blow them up. It might take you a few extra little bucks to go out there, but everybody got to stop thinking about themselves. And that's what I'm saying in terms of what the Saints have to do. They have to be more responsible minded on how they dilly out their money. You got draft capital, and you don't want to continue to build these things into the ground like we've been doing. We got to consider that. We can't just keep being irresponsible. $170-something million in the last 2 years and trying to get up under the cap for real, fam. I mean, that's just that's preposterous and ridiculous and irresponsible. Now, we play games and say we call them cap magicians and all that, but come on, let's call it what it is. That's totally irresponsible. That's totally irresponsible. Do you not understand if any one of us ran our housing budgets like that we'd be sitting up on the street? Do you not understand? Boy, let me tell you something. Each and every last one of you that got a house or apartment or whatever you got, you would be sitting on the street with no house, no car if you ran your budget in the hole like that. Let me tell you something. That is totally irresponsible. They make it look fun and easy, but I'm telling you, it is irresponsible. We can't operate like that, especially in this new C-19 climate that's coming in. They got the contracts coming in, but who's to say the following year that this stuff don't drop back up on you? You see what I'm saying? You got to think about that. We got to get responsible. 504 Cole says, Big Q, if Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle from Georgia, is there at 18. Wow. The big guy, that big, massive defensive tackle, and you put him next to David Onyemata? My goodness. Damn. Forsake my defense. Build my defense up. Which been carrying the team last year was the defense. You picked that big son bitch up there and put him next to David Onyemata. Are you kidding me? Boy, I am definitely tempted to take him right there. Man, let me tell you something, bro. That's 504 code. That's a hell of a question, man. Man. Because I'm looking at the Saints line, and you put that guy from Georgia next to David Onyemata and Cam Jordan and Davenport, and then you still got Passanio there, and Granderson eventually you get him under, and then you got Peyton Turner coming back. My goodness, man. That'll be intriguing. That would make you would not be able to run on the same. And you already one of the top stuff and run stuff and defense in the league. But you put that guy there next to, oh my goodness, you're not doing anything. You having 2-yard rushing performances against the Saints defense. My goodness. My goodness. The draft. I mean, but see, if that guy falls to you at 18, he's one of the top players in the draft. You got to look at him and say, if that guy falls at 18 to you, the first thing I would say is, damn, he dropped down to 18. What's wrong with him? Why y'all didn't take him in the top 10? I have to look at his health. What did he say? What's going on? I would be I'd put my GM hat on. I ain't gonna lie to you. And if all else checks out, 504 code, I will pull the trigger on that, bro. You like Q, but what about the offense, bro? I'll build up that goddamn offense with them the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth, fam. But you get a big guy like Jordan Davis, you put him next to David Onyemata, man, the Saints, you are not running ever on the Saints. You done made the defense, you done took them and elevated them to levels that'll be utterly legendary and ridiculous at the same time. So yeah, that's a tough one, man. But I will pull the trigger because that guy's one of the top people in the draft. I know he don't fit a need, but truth be told, that guy would be absolutely awesome in the interior of the Saints defensive line. A big, massive force like that, I would have to pull the trigger on him. I'm sorry, I would have to. And besides, the Saints will have a ton of draft picks anyway. But I could be it's a deep wide receiver draft. I can be able to move up and do what I got to do. I have compensatory picks, so there'll be some flexibility with me. But if Jordan Davis falls to me there, I would have to consider him, bro. For real. I'm sorry, I would. My defense was kicking ass last year. You're going to need them people this year to stop all that running attack, and then we could build up moving forward. Man, I would have to pull the trigger on him, 504. Cole, thank you for the question. All right, thank you for that. Kevin said, what's up, GM Kev? He said, do they have the imagination to see this? I mean, I think they do, bro. You got a lot of really good coaches there. But the thing is, like I said, the offense, and we've been saying this for a while, we know the team. The offense needs help. It really does. The offense needs help. It needs a lot of help. It does. Offensive line is flux there. It's going to be movement. At least 3 players are going to be affected on the offensive line. Ramczyk healthy, moves to the blind side. Who's your center? If is McCoy the center again? If he's not, then, and McCoy will have to move to guard because McCoy will solidify one of the guard position, whether it's right or left guard. I don't care. Cesar Ruiz, they're not going to trade him. They're not going to draft somebody else to replace him. So you got to see what in his third year, if he could play the center position. Eventually, you got to put him at the center position, which will require McCoy to slide to guard position. Either one, left or right, he'll do fine either or. And then if that's the case, you still got 2 positions. Whether it's Andrews Pete go back to the guard position, or does he challenge for the other tackle position along with Hurst and Landon Young? And once that's settled, who's the other guard? You see? And God, please don't let it be Kelvin Throckmorton, the turnstile, man, please. All right, Elmo. So hopefully we get James Williamson with the you talk Jameson, yeah, Jameson, the wide receiver. I think he's going to be well. You could be right on that, Elmo. You could be right, bro, because he did have some injury concerns. He might slide a bit, so you could have something on there. All right, Big Sean says, Q, I'm sorry, but if Jordan Davis is there, I'm taking him. I agree with you. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you because we're not looking at the defensive line. I don't see it as a position of need, but your starting defensive tackle outside of David Onyemata is Shai Tuttle and one of these undrafted players, Tanu Passanio, who's a passing veteran coming through. But you don't have a first-round draft pick of that caliber. And remember how your defensive line looked when you had a really bona fide nose tackle, which this Jordan Davis guy is. So you're absolutely right. If he falls to you at 18, I know we're supposed to go offense to improve it. But listen, that defensive tackle, but you will not be able to run on the Saints. And then that guy has a force. He don't just clog up blocks and lanes. He also provides a push, which is what you want a nose tackle to do, to suck up blockers that free up guys like Davenport and Cam Jordan, who's always double. But you run those stunts like they did last year, he'd be able to get more sacks, like what we was telling him. Stop talking, I want to stand up clean shit. Remember I was saying that? But when you seen them start stunting and they start getting them sacks, huh? I told you, man, you can't be stone mind like that. You can't have a concrete mind. But yeah, you're right. I'm with you on that, Big Sean. You got to do it. John, what's up, John? Said, Big Q, how do you feel about Christian Kirk? I like the guy, man. He got some injury problems. I think he coming off an injury, but he's a perfect slot man. Real smart. Austin, thank you for your super chat, fam. Says, why would you move McCoy from center when he played so well there? Because of Cesar Ruiz. The reason why we'll move McCoy from center where he played so well at, and you're right, to guard is because Cesar Ruiz, the guy that's playing guard right now, who's allowing people to he's not good. He's a weak link on the offensive line. And the reason why we'll move him to center is because the Saints spent a first-round draft pick on Cesar Salad Ruiz to find out if he is a good center. But Coach Payton had him playing at guard, which was a mistake. So hopefully the new regime coming in puts Cesar Ruiz at the position that he was drafted with a first-round pick out of college as. He never had any history of playing the guard position, and it shows. But we know McCoy could play the guard position, could play it well. He'll be a Pro Bowl at the guard position. So this is merely what you're doing is you're moving I ain't going to say the man bad, but not a very good offensive guard to the center position, which he was drafted to play out of college. You got to at least see if he can play that position. At least sees that. And if he can't, then you're going to have to get him up out of here. You got to justify the first round pick. If he was a third or fourth round pick, we can move him around wherever we want. But he was a first round draft pick at the center position. As a center, you got to see if the man can play the center. You got to, because he's not good at the guard position. He won't ever be that good at the guard position. He was drafted as a center. That's why I said it's better for you to move McCoy to the guard, which you know he could play, and Cesar to play the center position to validate the first round selection. Thank you for your super chat and your question, Austin. I hope that Austin had. He says, well, you don't move McCoy. He was the worst at center than that guard you saw the Panther game. He almost got Jameis killed. Shit, he got people killed at the guard position. What you gonna do? He plays better at center than he did guard. You put the tape on, dude. I'm just telling you. The guy is not good. He gets everybody killed at the guard position. Hell, they got two people he was supposed to block in several contests, and he ain't blocked none of them. So what I'm saying is he's playing out of position, bro. He's playing out of position. When you got a first-round draft pick player that's playing out of position, he was drafted to play a center. He had no history of playing guard. He was at Michigan, became a first-rounder because of his center play. Listen to what I'm saying. Center play. He was drafted as a center. You got to put him at the center position to see if he can play the position, because he can't play two positions. He can only play one. He damn sure can't play the guard position. So we got to put him at the center to validate the pick. He getting everybody. He was getting people killed at the guard position, Playboy. I'm just telling you. Put the tape on. As a center, he did a little bit better at the center position, but that takes time. He's not a good guard. He won't ever be a good guard. The man is a center. Let him learn the center position. That's what I'm telling you, Austin. And outside of that, you know McCoy could play the guard position. And if Cesar Salad Ruiz don't work at the center position, you can merely switch him back or bench Ruiz or trade him or do whatever you got to do. But you have to figure out if the man can play the position that he was drafted to play, is what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying, Austin? That's what I'm saying, buddy. He says draft someone to replace him. No, they're not going, bro. You can't listen. No, bro, they're not going to do that, bro. I know it seems commonsensical to me and you to be talking like that. They say, well, Q, go ahead and draft the guy to replace. No, they're not going to draft somebody to replace Ruiz until they can see if he can play the position that he was drafted to play. Remember, the big part I'm sticking at with you, Austin, is he's a first-round draft pick, right? First rounder. He has to learn to play the center position that he was drafted for because he's a shitty guard. You see what I'm saying? That's the bottom line. So you got to justify the pick, and they haven't done enough to justify the pick. People are burning him up right now because he's playing out of position. You got to see what he looks like at the center position. Yeah, he got Drew killed there. I mean, he had limited reps there, but you do better as a center than as a guard, man. I'm just letting you know. And they're not going to just waste draft capital. Okay, we just spent 2 years ago, Cesar Ruiz, first round draft pick. Let's draft another center then. Just draft another one. No, it don't work like that, bro. Especially these last several years, the Saints got to be very careful on their draft picks because of the monetary situation. The Saints can't miss on these picks. They got to do their due diligence and pick up the right stuff. All right. Thank you, Austin, for that, man. Appreciate you. Just trying to, this is the thought process that I'm thinking you got to justify first round draft picks. If you don't, you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems. You got to justify the first round draft picks. You got to. And he's out of position at playing guard. We know if you put McCoy there, McCoy would ball. But we know that Cesar Ruiz, we got to see what he can do there. That's what I was saying about flux with the offensive line. It is what it is. But you put the tape on, yeah, he would. They're not going to draft another center to replace the man, bro. I'm just telling you. Tell me about it. Says Q, what's worse than gambling on fighting? I could tell mine for suspension. I don't know, bro. I said 6 to 8 weeks, bro. That's what my call was on Elvin Kamara because it's a Goodell. And Nola Ball's right. He said, that was another Payton outsmarting himself move. Coach Payton had these things where Coach Payton gambled. He did a lot of good. I ain't going to take nothing away from Coach Payton. But there were moves that he made that was bad moves. And I'm going to tell you, the Cesar Ruiz to guard move, that was a bad move. Because he was trying to prove that he can take a player and turn him into something else. You can't do that with everybody. You remember he made the same mistake with Natrell Jamerson when he drafted Natrell Jamerson, who was a cornerback out of Nebraska, or was it Wisconsin? It was Wisconsin. He drafted Natrell Jamerson to play, I think it was Nebraska. He drafted Natrell Jamerson as a cornerback and try to convert him to safety, then cut him the same year because he couldn't convert to the safety position. If that's the case, just take a safety. What you drafting corners to turn them into safeties for? What the hell? Draft a safety. And that was stuff that he would do because he felt like I could take this guy and turn him into this. And it didn't work with a lot of guys. It didn't work with Leonard, the big offensive lineman they took out of Florida State. They drafted that guy and put him on the street the same year and wasted the pick. And he was a 4th round selection, I want to say. But that year they drafted those guys. They didn't get any real value out the draft because you're trying to flip-flop guys to positions that they don't know. And if in the interest of winning, you want to put players, the mindset of winning personnel, whether it's football or basketball, is to put your players in the best position to win. That's what it comes down to. And most of the times that means taking players and putting them in comfortable situations or positions that they played throughout their young careers so that they have success at. Not taking guys that's why I like Andrews Pete. And I tell y'all my Andrews Pete story all the time because Coach Payton did Andrews Pete wrong. When Andrews Pete came in, I think when he got Coach Payton doghouse because he came up in there. Coach Payton, when he came into the camp overweight because it was something dealing with him going to school. And it was a time frame between him going to school and him starting training camp. And he came into camp overweight. And when he came, that pissed Coach Payton off. And then that for the year or that year, the 2 years, the first 2 years, Coach Payton was doing everything he can to run him through the wire. He had him playing tackle. Then he moved him from left tackle, right tackle. And from right tackle to left guard to right guard. Had him playing every position for center. And then was getting mad at him because he wasn't learning the position. I said, hold on, coach. Who you do that to? Who else you doing that to on the team? Nobody but him. But credit to him, he didn't give up on the position. Credit to him, he did get 2 Pro Bowlers from doing that at the guard position. He never played the guard position before. So credit to him being able to have success there and do that. So, I mean, that's credit to Andrews. Not everybody could do that. Not everybody could do that, but he turned it into a positive. That's why I got respect for Andrews Pete. Now, he need to get up off his ass and stop getting hurt and get a lot healthier. But outside that, that's why I give Andrews Pete a lot of credit because Peyton was running them through the wire, man, doing all that stuff. I remember I was covering all that shit. Saying, what's wrong with Coach Peyton doing him like that? He ain't doing nobody else that on the team, man. How you doing him like that? But the man didn't spit at him. He didn't cuss at him. He took all of that shit and turned it into 2 Pro Bowl appearances in the contract. So, I mean, he went through the wire. That's right. Jean-Claude Baptiste was another wasted pick. Horrible. The Kevin White situation. Right, Derek? The Kevin White move to bring him on the team. Yeah, Adrian Arrington. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, Herring. Not what's the boy name? El Toon's son. What's his name? The Toon guy they brought on the team that was a wide receiver. You know, you had guys that I think he was undrafted, but you had guys that came on the team that he missed that. He did. And you got to look, Coach Payton got a little big headed thinking he can do that, but that wasn't right. They got to justify figuring out what to do with that movement. They got some movement they got to fix. Now, could Coach Marone help Cesar Salad Ruiz? Yeah, he could help him. But I'm not anticipating that much move. You jumping to become a quality NFL guard in your third year, and you not two guys coming at you. Pick one to block. Two guys rushing, coming into the offensive line. Pick one of them to block. How you don't block nobody? Nick Toon, there you go. Remember him? There's a couple. I don't even much want to bring all them sorry ass players up, but the reality is, it's just showing you that they miss on these players sometimes. Sometimes it just be arrogance that you're gonna force somebody to do something they're not capable of doing. So it's just one of those things. Anyway, James, what's up, fam? Say what's good, Q? What you think? Stay at 18, draft Corral or Ritter. If available, sign Jameis 1 or 2 year deal. Jameis starts some battles with rookie, move up, second round, get wide receiver, third round safety, and defensive tackle. Sound like a solid game plan, brother James. I would bring them back. Stay at 18 and draft Corral. They're saying Corral could be available there. They're saying that he got attitude problems and all this kind of stuff, but are the Saints big on Corral? You know, Ritter could be somebody they look at in the second round. I don't know, bro. These are all options, man, especially when you're the black and gold. You're looking at such things. These are all options. You're right. So, I mean, we'll see what they look like down the road, bro, because the Saints definitely got to look at getting the call. Not this poo-poo Ian book. That's not what I'm saying. That book's not the answer because I like them very much. But sometimes you got to provide these young guys competition. And if you got a guy like Carson Strong from Nevada in the second round, and he's sitting there, and he's got a big arm, and you can work with him and develop him, why not? I mean, Jameis on a 3-year deal, you got the quarterback there, and then when Jameis gets ready to retire or move, you got a young quarterback or steady quarterbacks battling underneath. It only makes the quarterback run better. Like I said, the old competition is said by monopolistic men like what's his name? Rockefeller, that says competition is sin. No, it's not a sin, partner. You're just weak. You can't compete with people. Only weak asses want to shrink and destroy the competition in the room so they can max out and make money. Only weak ass jackasses want to do that. And I don't like that, because competition, you won't compete. Competition makes everybody strong. You won't compete with somebody and you lose to somebody, then you work out a little harder, and maybe next time you'll beat them if you're racing them. Maybe it forces you to kind of rethink your stratagem as a business person. Maybe you need to work better at being more of a people person so you can attract people to your business. Maybe you need to work on being better with your money line so you can spend a little bit more on advertising. Not say, let's destroy these people businesses over here so I can have the only business. And then they come. That's a sucker, loser, chump ass mentality. That's why you don't support monopoly people if you know they're there. Go buy it from them independent people, man. Because when you do that, you're only hurting yourself and your children. Because them bastards going to take it and shoot it through the roof. If you see that, don't support them. I'm keeping it real with you. I'm telling you, man. Most of this stuff people doing to themselves. They're doing it to themselves. So anyway, with that being said, fam, listen, I'm going to dirk out on that, man. Yeah, you Kev. Marcus Willoughby. I know, bro. That man never seen a light of day. Isn't that funny? But most of them, that's why I said, why are you picking up these silver trash can, these great value players that never see the light of day? You know what I'm saying? What is this? Let's focus on guys that we can actually use, shall we? You know, if we bring a guy in here, you know, he might not have limited, but I got an idea for this guy. I'm gonna use him in special teams. You know, I can develop him for a position of whatever. But you got Willoughby and all these other suspect characters that you come in here and you ain't doing nothing with these guys. They got a guy he brought in for Canada, and he ain't doing a damn thing with that guy. So I mean, like I said, it's just like some of these guys, it just don't make it. It's just what it is. But anyway, like I said, man, we'll type out. On Nolan Nerd says Ritter will not be a second rounder. He will go in the top 20 competition impression makes diamonds. That's real. Well, yeah, Nolan Nerd, thank you for that. We'll see what the Ritter thing. His stock is riding. We'll see where he falls, because I'm hearing stuff for Corral, but you know how that goes. Like, right, we're not close there yet. We still got a month or so before the draft comes. Well, not what is it? Late? When is it? We still got a draft, what, about a month or so, loosely, a month or so for the draft to come. And you know, that's a little expanded out. So you're going to get some people stock that's going to rise and some people stock going to fall. You got individual teams that's going to be doing these pro days to help put their stock up. Some people going to fall. That's just how it goes. It's like a stock market effect. You know, the stock is good right now, but that don't necessarily mean in 3 or 4 weeks their stock is going to remain high. You might have a sleeper that sneaks in there, and then teams start liking what he does based on an individual pro day at a school that did, and he turned it all the way up and did some fantastic stuff that shot him into the top 5 of the QB player, top 3. We've seen that happen before. We've seen that happen all the time. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, Cameron Meredith, El Bacano. Oh my goodness, those are terrible guys. Cameron Meredith was supposed to be an answer. He just couldn't. He was terrible. He couldn't stay healthy. Awful. Yeah, that was terrible. And then El Bacano was stealing out of Deuce McAllister's locker, and he said it was a joke. Man, what are you doing, bro? You just got here and you stealing out the man locker. That was a Connell was a pretty good wide receiver. He was with the Redskins. Yeah, that brings me back, bro. I remember all that. I was like, man, he said it was just a joke. I was just playing. You just got here. How you still you still not his locker? And I think he took money, man. Like he took his helmet or something and then, you know, a clothes or whatever. And then it's like, and then wore me like, look, I got your clothes on or whatever. That'd be strange in its own right. But he took the man money and said it was a joke. Man, listen, no, dude. You just got it. How you still? It was a joke. I was there. Look, I got your money. Nah, dude. Nah, get your ass. It's crazy. Crazy asses. Anyway, that's what that'll do it for the show, man. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Please feel free to hit the like button. It's over 150 of us in here. Hit the like button, man. Hit the notification bell. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe and become. Thank you, Brandon, for becoming a member too, fam. Appreciate you, bro, for becoming a member. You too, Dr. Key. And Brother Derek Abshire, be like Brother Derek, hit the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber and join the Great Saint Think Tank. And the rest of the family members, man, join us. And we'll be back Tuesday. We'll be on Patreon Tuesday tomorrow, fam. We'll do a show there as well. We'll be there working on another On Q with Big Q and some other stuff that I had some computer issues that I got to finish up. So we got some other stuff going on. Yeah, I like Sky more. Yeah, been on Beast. I like Sky more a lot, man. I was watching some footage on him. But anyway, that'll do it for the show. Much love to the fam. I appreciate y'all, man. Hit the like button for your boy. Subscribe. And feel free to share the show links in your social media feed. And I'll see the family members, most of the family members, on Wednesday, and the Patreon family members and the YouTube family members, the member family members. I'll see y'all on Tuesday Patreon special. Appreciate you, Mocha, for your super chat, fam. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man. Y'all keep y'all heads up. And I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons. We won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that? Who got cut and who back? Rookies and the vets. Players you should look at. It's the sports coma. You don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Payton, New Orleans, who that nation? Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.